Welcome to Healing Body, Mind, and Soul, empowering self-care, self-healing, and self-mastery for a better world. Here's your host, Aeriol Ascher.
Hey, everyone. Guess what time it is? It is that time for us to bring to you the Empowered Self-Care Book Talks. I am so excited to be here with you today. My name is Aeriol Ascher, and today not only will I be your host, but I will be our first speaker up. I'm here, of course, with the fabulous co-authors of the Empowered Self-Care book, due out this February 9th, in fact, February 9th of 2021. Can you even believe that's a thing yet? But it is. So due out February 9th, 2021. We're bringing you this fabulous book. Now, in my talk today, I'll tell you a little bit about what we're up to with this book and why we're doing it. But I just want to remind everybody that you want to go ahead and get on our mailing list so that you can be one of the first people to get one of the first copies for just $1. That's right. If you get on our list before February, when it comes time for the launch, we'll get you on a special list so that you can get that book with our 25 co-authors for just $1. That's an amazing value, even if it wasn't going to heal the planet. Okay, so today our speakers will be myself, Aeriol Ascher, the fabulous Shauna Cuch, who I'm so excited for you to hear about her shadow work. It's terribly fascinating. You're going to want to lean in and hear about that. And then we have a new team in our Empowered Self-Care book project, and that's Karen Eischen and Mel Perry. Now, they are a mother-daughter team, and I was just absolutely compelled by their business and what they're up to. So now they're on board, and today they're going to tell you about their take on self-care. So I want everybody to go ahead. We'll see the other speakers in just a moment. I want everybody to go ahead and settle in and just give yourself a moment to think about what self-care means to you. Now, I shared with you earlier, you probably already know, my name is Aeriol Ascher, and I am a co-author of this book, and also the compiler of this project. And I have had the honor and the privilege of working with all of these combined healing energies and putting these chapters together into a volume of what I think is going to be just a powerful force of healing on the planet. Let me back up just a little bit. Okay, so first let me tell you why I decided to do the project. I had done a couple of these co-author books and really enjoyed being an author and showcasing my voice in a different way. I hadn't been doing any publishing or anything like that in my career. And as a performer and a speaker, I felt that it was really important for me to start to actually have something in a volume. So if you've been following me, bless your heart, first of all, but you may have noticed over the past couple of years, I have had 3 internationally best-selling books. And then when I was kind of sitting around and thinking, well, what's next for me? those of you who know me will know that I have an excellent self-care regime, and I go and float once a week in an isolation tank so that I can clear my energy, and I have a deep meditation practice that I utilize during that time. And during one of these float sessions, I just had the most amazing vision, and I just love to describe it to you now. I had a vision of myself as this energy field. And, you know, I have been a healer for 30 years now, and I can get in the state of mind where my energy is a real palpable force, trust me. But at this time, I went even further, and I was looking out and asking my angels, masters, and guides to come in. And what happened was I saw all these little sparkling lights, and they all showed up like little swirling geometries, and they all kind of came together, and they connected, making this like flower of life. And they came down in this swirling vortex. I'm not making this up. I'm not even that creative. And they came down in this swirling vortex and into this like magical book. It was like Harry Potter or something, you know, I mean, but it was really this like very, very strong vision. And the voice said to me, empowered self-care. And you may know I have a podcast called Healing Body, Mind, and Soul. And so this is all on brand for me and everything, but I never had a vision come down and this is what you're supposed to do next. So I was really grateful for the vision, and I spent most of 2020 recruiting our authors and recruiting our network and really handpicking experts and really handpicking masters who could bring forward a different look at self-care. Let me back up once again. So in my career as a speaker, for several years, I had been speaking about self-care. And I was really big on what I called whole self-care. It needed to be whole. We needed to consider not only the physical body, but also the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of the individual. Not just because I was a Reiki practitioner and happened to like the spiritual side, but because the energy force that creates that spiritual body is a piece of you and needs to be addressed in your daily self-care. So I just wanted to raise awareness, and I wanted to collaborate with my fellow healers and bring together this work so that we could give it to the public as just like a massive healing, right? Each of the authors have come together, and they have some wonderful gift at the end of every single chapter that the reader can go to their websites and get even more. So it's just going to be such a delicious, delicious work. And it has been such a divinely inspired and spirit-led project for me. So I just wanted to share that part of the story, because I've let the ladies speak so much on this book talk series that I thought maybe it was about time that I told you guys why I'm even doing this. And as a collective, we are hoping to raise the consciousness of the planet, because we believe that to empower the self actually creates relationships, environments, and pretty soon a whole entirely healed planet. And just in that as above, so below, in that macro, micro kind of way. So that's why I decided to do the project. Now, I am also one of the co-authors. You don't think that I would create a wonderful project like this and not put my 2 cents in, right? So I did write a chapter, and my chapter is entitled Sequestered into Self-Love. And if you review your year in 2020, I bet you can figure out why that was the title that I chose. Now, as I already shared, I had an excellent self-care practice, and I was even loud and proud about being a speaker who was going out in the world, trying to educate people about this whole self concept. But my chapter went even deeper now into self-love. Everybody on the planet was faced with themselves. And if you were not okay, you're probably feeling like some pressure, a lot of blame, a lot of all kinds of things coming up. There's a lot of stuff going on, and everybody has been sequestered into their own homes and into their own spaces and hasn't been able to go on with their daily lives. We've really had to face ourselves. So the project and my chapter are really pinpointing this self-love as part of the self-care process and as part of a healthy, whole self-care lifestyle. Now, in my chapter, I share a lot of great points. I'll share a couple with them. I've got just a couple more minutes here. I'll share a couple with them with you right now. The first thing is, I talk about in my chapter to document your wins. Now, what do I mean by that? Document your wins. I mean, write it down. Keep a living document of your wins so that if there's ever a moment when you're not completely in love with yourself, you can look and see the impact that you have made on others. I talk about in my chapter as 30 years as a healing practitioner, I've got all of these wonderful, just heart-touching stories from my clients about how they've learned to relax or they've gotten courage to do something. And every once in a while, I keep them all in a document. And every once in a while, sometimes I'm not feeling 100%. But I can open that document and really know I've made a difference. There's a reason I'm here on purpose. And I can see from the words that are coming back at me in that document, how the impact that I've had on people's lives to remind me and uplift my own self. Another way to document your wins is to keep a vision board going, but not just like as a, like one and done, there it is, but really update it. Like when you get something new, like really like move it around, let that imagery of the beauty in your life surround you so that you can really, really shine your essence and really keep track. There's something about putting everything down. And of course, I'm going to say this, but get published. It's time to tell your story. Document your wins, document your life. And, I have to tell you, I haven't gotten really esoteric on any of my talks recently, but there's a little numerology thing coming up. So 2020 was that 4 year, right? Very square and 4. But in numerology, 5 is kind of a chaotic year. That's coming up next year. Next year is a 5 year. But you want to know what else that 5 represents? It represents the voice, the 5th chakra. And come on. You know that the Western woman is going to save the world. And I think that this project, we're doing our part. Okay, so I've talked enough about documenting your wins and just relishing and using journaling and vision boarding and these things to have something external from yourself to make sure that it drives you and moves you on. Another thing that I talk about in my chapter is to practice extreme gratitude. Extreme gratitude, not just your run-of-the-mill gratitude. We want some extreme gratitude up in here. And the reason I say this is because if you can just be in that reverence, in that appreciation, it changes your whole world, your perception. It changes your brain chemistry. It shifts your reality. And if you do that enough over and over again, then you'll see the changes in your waking state and just embody the divine essence that you can be. Just change that energy by practicing extreme gratitude. And the last thing that I'll talk about is something that many, many spiritual teachers and practitioners like myself say, and I'm going to repeat it. And that is to practice forgiveness. Okay, whatever you do, you can practice Ho'oponopono. That's very trendy for people to do. But no matter how you do it, you must let go of the past, just so that you can be free of cluttered energy, free of energetic charge or emotional baggage. Practice forgiveness. Speaking of Ho'oponopono, I'd like to real quick in my last minute here show you my really expedited version of Ho'oponopono. So if you don't know how to do this at home, or even if you just want to take a quick second now, you can join me. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath. And imagine you can breathe in through the center of your heart. And I want you to imagine that place just above your heart, or I call it your high heart. And from that place, you're going to slide down the chakra ladder through the legs, down, 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 down past your feet, down into the planet to get grounded. We're going to take a deep breath and do that in 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And from that place, from that high heart back in the chakra ladder, I want you to slide all the way up the chakra ladder, up to the 12th chakra, 300 feet above your head. I want you at that time to switch a magic switch. Imagine that you can turn on a fountain of forgiveness. Allow that energy to slide down your chakra ladder, down, 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 through your head, down into your throat. And I want you to let it well up in a beautiful chalice in your heart, like a fountain, and allow it to overflow. Just letting that energy come down, down, down from the heavens and into the heart in that beautiful basin, and letting it overflow, overflow, overflow. And from that overflow, from that space of that abundant, washed out, cleaned out, energetic heart, I want you to go ahead and visualize a past self that you didn't like that much, a past piece of yourself. Maybe something you did to harm another. Or if you can't think of yourself, then think of somebody who cut you off in traffic or something like that. I want you to bring them into your field. Imagine that they can just walk up and you are far, far away. And from that excess from your heart, I want you to send them, bing, one little beam of light over to their heart. Oh, man. Did they piss you off? That's okay. Or maybe it's yourself. Maybe, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Send yourself that forgiveness from the overflow in your heart. And when you feel that energy kind of settle in, I want you to repeat after me. Let there be forgiveness. I release you of this emotional charge. Only love is real. And then quickly expediting our process here, we'll go ahead and leave our hands over our hearts to stop that flow. Allow that past version of yourself or whoever it is that we're forgiving to step aside and come back into present time, settling into your body. There you go. Practicing forgiveness. So that is just a super quick energy healing technique that you can use. Practicing forgiveness, using energy that's not your own to clear out the energy and to just get all those cobwebs out of the way. Okay, everybody. So I'm Aeriol Ascher, the compiler and one of the co-authors of the Empowered Self-Care Healing Body, Mind, and Soul book. My time is up now, and I want to thank you so much for your attention and wish you happy healing. I'll bring my ladies on now. There they are. Hey, ladies, how you doing? Oh, wonderful. What did you think, Karen and Mel? Did I make you proud? How was that for you?
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Aeriol.
Did you get anything helpful out of that, ladies?
Yes, definitely. The gratitude and forgiveness and loving yourself. It all starts with loving you.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, that's just wonderful. And we'll be hearing from you ladies in just a moment. Hey, Shauna, what did you think? Did you enjoy that?
I loved it. My favorite part was the forgiveness of self. That was really big for me, to just quit that negative self-talk and just put that being into my own heart. That was awesome.
That's great. Thank you so much for that feedback. And that is wonderful. Okay, well, I'm kind of the warm-up act today. Our audience has so much more in store for them. We're going to have a couple more sections next on the fanfare. And I think this is perfect, right? Shauna, your work is about the shadow. And I think that forgiveness work is really, really paramount in that kind of thing.
Yes.
So I want to tell everybody that Shauna Cuch is our next speaker up, and she's one of our co-authors. I'm so excited to have her on board. Karen and Mel, we'll see you all in a minute. I'm so excited to have Shauna on board. She has got a wonderful best-selling book out called Big Souls Make Big Promises. And I was very attracted to her book and her work with the shadow and the constellation work that she does. And I thought, what an amazing addition to our Empowered Self-Care project. So I brought her here to be with you. So without further ado, I'm going to butt out here and let Shauna just go ahead and tell you a little bit about the work she does, why she decided to come forward in our project at this time, and what exactly the reader's going to get out of her chapter of Empowered Self-Care, Healing Body, Mind, and Soul for a Better World. I'll see you in a few.
Who is driving your bus? Is it you, or is it your shadow? If it's your shadow, you're probably on some crazy drive and you have no say in where you're going because life's coming at you in every different direction. If it's you, you may be living the life of your dreams on the journey that you set out to go on. You have a choice. So my name is Shauna Cuch, as she said, and I'm a shadow expert. I'm founder of Journey into the Heart. And I'm going to talk to you today about three things. First of all, what is shadow? So many people don't even understand what I'm talking about when I talk about shadow. And how do we embrace our shadow? Most of us are so afraid of our shadow. We don't know what it is, what's there. And then, what has shadow got to do with self-care? So, shadow is, most of us, well, according to science, we only know 10% of who we are. The other 90%, we have no idea what's there, unless we discover it, unless we set that intention to discover what's there. So what is shadow? There's a lot of things there in that unconscious 90%. Ancestral baggage. Epigenetics has proved that we get passed down up to 6 generations of any trauma or unresolved issues where love and connection's been lost. So a lot of times we're living a life that doesn't even belong to us. We're feeling emotions that don't even belong to us. Then we have parental imprints. Grew up our whole life seeing maybe a dysfunctional relationship, or maybe functional, and we're living that out or having those expectations. So we have that imprint. Sometimes it's childhood trauma. It can be limiting beliefs that we pick up anywhere along the way. It can also be sexual shame or blame, guilt, any kind of shame, resistance. And how do we embrace our shadow? That's a real tough one. Because the more we resist, the more it persists. We all know that. We have the hardest part about embracing our shadow is we have so much judgment on it. We always want to be in the light, and we want to do all these things to get us in the light and this high energy. And yet there's our shadow lurking in those dark places. The reason I know about shadow is because I lived a life of shutting out my childhood trauma. And I had no idea. I didn't remember anything about my childhood. I had no idea what was there. It took me 60 years to uncover this shadow that was running my life. That's why I know about who's driving your bus, right? Yeah. So how do we embrace our shadow? And first of all, the dark and the light, it's always there. You go out in the sun, you're never going to be without shadow. So what we want to do is release what doesn't serve us, but embrace those parts of us that we resist. So embrace our shadow and take the judgment off of it. A lot of people outside of us have judgment on shadow or on what we're doing, or we have judgment on other people and what's going on outside of us. So bring all that in. Bring all those judgments in and see what's going on in that 90% of the unconscious part of you. And why do I say shadow is one of the most important parts of self-care? Because with making peace with our shadow, we fall in love with ourselves. We have a deeper love and respect and honor for ourselves, for our emotions, for our feelings. My suggestion to you is to take at least 15 minutes, either in the morning or the evening or both, and just be with yourself and start noticing what's going on in your body. Notice the things you're avoiding. Notice the resistance, maybe the blocks, the anger, the shut down emotions, or do we even have emotions? Do we even know that we're shutting them down? Because the universe is what we manifest is created through our emotions. So if you're not getting the life that you choose, then find out what's going on. And if you are having these things going on where you're shut down and you don't even know what you're feeling, and see if a lot of times we're avoiding or distracting from our shadow. And so we stay busy. I used to be a workaholic, servaholic, always going, serving everybody else, fixing and healing everybody else. And yet I'm the one that needed to get present with what was within me. So we have some really amazing modalities now in dealing with shadow. The constellations, you just sit in a chair and it's like watching a movie. You just get to sit there and see exactly what's going on in your energy field. And it's very eye-opening. It's very heart-opening because awareness opens the heart. And that's why my recommend to you is to actually keep a shadow journal. Not just a journal about these great things. And I'm not saying journal about negative things. I'm saying actually journal about what's going on in that 90%, because if you're asking, you're going to get the answers. And it's very important that you know your patterns, because then you can call forth what you want to go through. You get to choose. If you're fully aware of your patterns, you know yourself as well as shadow knows, because shadow's job is to keep you from your light. That's the job shadow has. And that's not what's going to happen if you know your shadow and you know what's going on and you determine what you're going to deal with and what you're going to call forth. It's really exciting. So I have created a special gift for you. It's a shadow journal, and I put it on my website. It's called journeyintotheheart.net, my website. And all you have to do is get on there, and on the very front page at the top, just sign up for a shadow journal. It's free. And then I will send you the journal. And what it is you're going to keep track of. First of all, I help you list all the types of shadow there are in your field, and then the characteristics of shadow. Because a lot of times we have things about us like our identities and our insecurities and all these things that we don't realize that is shadow, or the shame covering our higher version of ourselves up. So what I'm offering to you is to register and sign up for the shadow journal. And I'll not only send that to you, but I will also give you a free 30-minute session on helping you understand how to use the journal. Because it may be a little bit confusing, but it's really not. It's very simple, and it's so helpful, because you're not going to be in it by keeping track of it. Because when you observe shadow, you're not shadow. You don't become shadow. It's like it's not running you. It's not driving your bus. You're observing it, and you're fully aware of shadow and all that shadow can offer you, because then you can fall in love with shadow, and therefore fall in love with yourself, because awareness opens the heart. So start out by understanding what's in shadow, embrace your shadow, and find a way to sit somewhere and be with your shadow and understand what's going on in your body, because this is your place in your field. You decide what's in your energy field. I call it the sacred space. So you decide what's in your field, and that way you can always be deciding where you're taking your life, what journey you're going to be on. In my life, I knew that I had a lot of things, and nothing surprises me because I'm fully aware. How about you, Aeriol?
I am. Thank you so much for that about the shadow. I think that everybody should have a little. I do have a question though. Are you using the term shadow and subconscious interchangeably? I was curious about that.
Well, the unconscious, the science says that we only know 10% of who we are. We're only conscious of 10%. So in that 90%, then we have all these things going on, but we can actually start getting more awareness. The more we bring it to light, the more love, light, and truth we have for ourselves. And then we're not projecting all this out on everybody else. Because a lot of times we're actually creating what we're, the shadow within us, outside of ourselves. Like I married a man with anger because I had the anger within myself. I carried that vibration. So we actually attract that in our lives if we don't know it's there.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Karen and Mel, what did you think?
Oh, that was amazing. Really, really important work. As someone who's had social anxiety for most of my life, I know the shadow side of myself as well as the light side, and it's so important to know both of those about yourself.
Right, because you can't be in balance if you're not whole. I mean, you can't even get there, right? I think it's ridiculous to think that we're all light, or or even the flip side, all dark, right? Everything is kind of somewhere, and we're trying to find optimal balance. Well, thank you so much, Shauna. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to bring on now the fabulous Karen and Mel from Envision Joy today. And they're going to talk about their take on self-care. As I told you earlier, I was intrigued by this mother-daughter team and this generational approach to self-care. So I was an instant yes to have them aboard on this project. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to them so they can wow you with their excellence and tell you about their take on self-care, why they decided to come forward with their chapter at this time, and kind of what you can expect to get if you lean into their chapter. I'll go ahead and butt out and turn it over to you, ladies.
What is your top priority? If your mind went to a list of to-dos, goals, people to serve, loved ones, this talk is for you. Today, we will be talking about why you need to choose you first for everything else to be in alignment, and what prioritizing you has to do with self-care. Then we will talk about some of the most important choices you can make for your empowered self-care. And finally, we will talk about why we believe self-care is a way of being and why this is so important through the lens of our personal story. Let's talk about why choosing you is so important for your self-care and success. We have found that when you do not prioritize yourself, you will put other things on your plate. When you don't choose you, you will keep pushing off self-care more and more. And when you do not prioritize you, you will burn out instead of shine bright. And when your business and life doesn't work, neither will you. And your business and life will not work if you don't. We believe the root of all of this is worthiness. If at your core you don't believe you are worthy, you won't do it. So it's time. It's time to reprogram the messages, to prioritize intentionally loving yourself more so that the negative self-talk we walk around with will be replaced with more positive self-talk. So let's take a moment. Slow down, pause, and celebrate you in this moment. You are so worthy of your love. So at this time, I want to encourage you to participate and do this together with me. Repeat after me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
And so together. Thank you. I love you. I am worthy. Get into the state of I love you by training your brain that you are awesome at every moment and each step towards your success. When you actively make that choice, you show up in the world in that energy. You are able to make decisions quicker. You are able to create systems and strategies and a structure for your life that works for you. You are able to choose joy right now in this moment. And that's why our business is called Envision Joy Today, because we believe that anyone at any moment can choose to be in a state of joy. You don't have to wait for another credential or to know more or to be more. You can choose to be, do, and have it all right now in this moment. There's so much potential and possibility for all of us. You can design your life to welcome joy every day, no matter what ups and downs you may encounter. And the best day to step into all that you are meant to be is today, right now. Today, say yes to you and yes to your possibility. When you prioritize you, that's when you wake up with a life that you absolutely love. Now that we have shared why choosing you is so important for you to have a life of joy and fulfillment, we will share about important areas in your life to make empowered choices that come from loving and prioritizing yourself first. Choose your focus, choose your energy, and choose your community. When you choose you first, you're able to know what your vision is and know where you're going and who you want to be in this world. When you invest your time connected to your vision, you make progress towards your most important goals. When you confidently choose your first step, you can confidently choose your next decision and the next step quickly. Second is choose your energy. When you choose yourself, you don't get drained. You're a positive presence in this world to serve the people that you're meant to serve. Success in life is mostly how we show up. And start with how you show up for yourself. You get to choose how you spend your energy. You can choose to lean into anxiety, overwhelm, those things that are keeping you from your best life. Or you can lean into joy, possibility, and potential. At any moment, you can choose. And 3 is choose your community. When you are in alignment from the inside out, you're showing up and you're shining bright, you can intentionally choose your community. It's been proven. If you surround yourself with positive people, positive thoughts, positive thinking, it will rub off. Or you can easily be dragged down. If you're choosing positive love and light, that brings it out more and more. If you're choosing the negative, it will drain you. You need to be consistently surrounded by and connected to others who have gone before you who say, great job, keep going. You already have what it takes to create what you want, and have support creates momentum. When you prioritize yourself and then choose your energy and your focus, you are more confident in choosing the rooms that you enter that serve you, as well as leave those that no longer serve you. Choose your focus, choose your energy, and choose your communities so that you can live in a state of empowered self-care. Our philosophy is that you have 24 hours in a day. There is opportunity to welcome joy.
Now that we have shared why choosing you is so important and important areas to make empowered choices, we will now share why self-care as a way of being is so important for your personal and professional success through the lens of our personal story. As busy women with seemingly endless lists of to-dos, self-care and self-love can take a back burner. What I've learned is that self-care takes the back burner, we burn out. If we do not live in a state of self-love and prioritize you and self-care by building it into your business plan intentionally, when you get distracted or stressed, it will fall to the wayside. If you do not have a solid foundation, it will crumble. That is why self-care must be a way of being. And I know this because I got my own wake-up call. With too many to-dos and not enough time, my head filled with deadlines and producing results, I got slammed. And the self-care routine, which had seen me through all the ups and downs in my life, blended together with busy and overwhelmed. In the midst of doing our empowerment summit, I got what I thought was food poisoning. But actually what happened was I was having a gallbladder attack. And I ended up in bed for 2 weeks. And because I had the systems in place, my business could run with my daughter and without me. And I was able to take the time to slow down and return to the practices I thought I could leave off my plate while I was busy. I got back to where I could be a vibrant leader. I started to take short, intentional walks with our dog, Maisie. And as she lives, as we know animals, as she lived in the present moment, so did I. And these morning walks became a form of meditation, an opportunity to start the day grounded, rooted in love. As empowerment leadership coaches and visibility strategists, we believe self-care built on self-love is a foundational structure for your business. When you intentionally choose you instead of focusing on the worries of how it's going to come together, you have the structures and systems to support you. To sustain your business, you need to sustain yourself. Being a woman on purpose with an impact and legacy to create, business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It is a journey.
You have a message and a contribution to make in this world that requires you to nurture your mind, your body, and your spirit so you can show up. You owe it to yourself and to those you are meant to serve to prioritize you and live in an intentional state of self-love. Self-care as a way of being rooted in empowered choices is absolutely critical for success. You can feel good and do good while making money. It's possible when you choose you, one step at a time. Today, we have talked about why it is so important to prioritize yourself so you can have empowered self-care, what those important choices to choose to be in an empowered state, and why we believe self-care as your foundation is critical for joy and success. We hope you will pick up a copy of the book when it comes out on February 9th and read our chapter. And also check out our website, Envision Joy Today, to learn more about how you can create the plan and the structure so you can have the business and life of your dreams built on empowered self-care as a way of being.
Excellent, ladies. I loved it. So great. I loved it. Let's get Shauna on here so we can all celebrate. Shauna, what did you think of their talk?
That was amazing. Yeah, that was a hard lesson for me too. Just slow down and just find out what's there. Take care of yourself. That's awesome.
Amen. What I like about this project so much is I love hearing all of us talk about the same thing from different angles and from our own perspective. I loved what you said about surrounding yourself with positive people. And I was in the background going, me, I'm there. So I just wanted you to know that was really excellent. I feel just great being on a team with all of these amazing healers and coaches. So, ladies, I'm going to go around the room for one more super tip from each of you. Let's go ahead and start out with Shauna. Shauna, could you leave our audience with one super tip before we close off for today?
Sure. So withholding these emotions or withholding these things in your body, withholding this shadow and avoiding it, you actually can create disease in your body. So just be with it and allow your body to feel things instead of avoiding and pushing it away.
Agree. That's wonderful. Okay, how about our team? Let's hear. I want something from each of you. We're not going to let you guys out of it so that easy. How about you, Karen? Do you have a fabulous tip for us?
Well, something that you said about gratitude, intentional and exceptional gratitude, is I have a gratitude practice that I think has really helped me. And so when I wake up, even before I get out of bed, I will say 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then once I get up, I'll write them down, or I'll write something else down that I thought of. And then when I go to sleep, I do the same thing. And I don't have to write it down. I just say those things that I did that day. I felt good about that day, the people I met, and the things that I'm grateful there right in the moment. And I think that really it's really helped me, and it keeps people present, that there are small things that they can be exceptionally grateful for. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just when you go through your day, you're going to find some things that you're grateful that they happened. You're grateful that you were there to experience it. You're grateful that you were able, like here, I'm grateful that I was able to be on this panel to share our story and to help one person. That's enough.
Aw, thank you, Karen. That's awesome. How about you, Mel? Do you want to pipe in here?
Yes. Wonderful, amazing wisdom shared throughout this book journey, and all the co-authors tonight, as well as throughout the book. And one of my favorite things, in addition to celebrating every moment, which is through the gratitude journal or finding other ways, is to not only, if you're a woman in business, to not only focus on your business vision, but also your personal vision. And a really quick way to put yourself into the state of where and who you want to be is to create 3 statements. I choose to be, I choose to have, and I choose to do. And when, for example, I choose to be powerful, I choose to have and share my message, and I choose to own my authority. And so in that way, especially those 3 statements are the ones that I chose because of my social anxiety and being able to shine bright in the world every day, is to have those in a space where you can be reminded every day of who you want to embody right now, so that, as we say, self-care and self-love can become a way of being.
Okay, I got to make sure my mic is on. I kept turning it off there. Sorry about that, ladies. Ladies, I just want to thank you so much for those super tips for our listeners. And I want to remind everybody who's either catching this live or in the subsequent recordings, that you're going to want to get on our mailing list. This is an amazing opportunity for you to get our book for only $1. And I have to give you spoiler alert, each and every one of the authors in their chapter has beautiful gifts for you, like the shadow journal that Shauna offered today. And each and every one of the authors has something for you. So for $1, are you kidding me? You got to get your hands on this. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to get on our mailing list so that you can be one of the first. Okay. Ladies, I'm going to send you to your room and just leave our listeners with one last parting thought. Make sure that you put yourself first, because you are your most important relationship. If you don't have enough life force and energy to take care of yourself, how will you serve your family? How will you serve your loved ones? And how on earth will you serve your mission? I'm hoping that you embrace empowered self-care. And this is Aeriol Ascher. I'm wishing you happy healing. Thanks, everybody. And this will be the final of our book talk series. Make sure to get on our list and make sure to get your copy. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.